stop everything you are doing and listen carefully, because the coins you have ignored for years could quietly be worth more than houses, cars, and entire businesses. Deep inside America's history, there exist half-dollar coins that were never meant to survive circulation. Yet they did, passed from hand to hand, scratched, worn, underestimated, and forgotten. Today, elite collectors chase them with obsession, museums fight to secure them, and private buyers move in silence. These coins were born in times of war, crisis, celebration, and political change. They were struck in limited numbers, mishandled by history, and misunderstood by the public. Some were saved by accident. Others survived pure chance. What makes them extraordinary is not just age or metal, but stories hidden in the wear. The minting mistakes, the production secrets, and the moments in time they represent. Millions of dollars now follow these half-dollars across auctions and private deals. Yet most people still spend them without a second thought. This is the dangerous truth of pocket change. One decision, one glance, one moment of awareness can separate a normal life from a historic. Discovery on Rare Coins Info. We uncover how these half-dollars rose from everyday money to legendary status, why collectors will do almost anything to own them, and how the next one could already be sitting in your collection, waiting to be noticed.
In the heart of the story we began together, the moment your breath steadied and your curiosity rose, we now step into the world of the first legendary coin, the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that millions of Americans have seen, touched, and passed along without ever realizing the incredible truth hidden beneath its surface. This coin emerges from a chapter of American history charged with emotion, national pride, and an unbreakable bond between a nation and a fallen president. The assassination of John F. Kennedy left an entire country grieving, and only months later, the United States Mint began designing a coin that would honor him in both physical form and historical permanence. By the time 1971 arrived, the Kennedy half-dollar had become a symbol of remembrance and unity. This specific year, however, contains a far deeper story. A story that numismatists still follow, like detectives chasing unanswered questions, as we begin unfolding the complete truth behind the 1971 half-dollar, the coin that some collectors now believe could reach a staggering $4 million in a perfect storm of rarity, condition, grading, and error specificity. We must first understand the monumental transition that defined this year. In 1971, the United States Mint made the historic shift from 40% silver composition to a copper-nickel-clad format, a change that forever altered the identity of the Kennedy half-dollar. The official plan was simple: remove silver entirely, produce only clad, send them into circulation, and continue the story of the Kennedy half in a modern format. Yet, as every serious numismatist knows, whenever a mint undergoes a major transition in metal composition, something unexpected, something unplanned, something extraordinary can occur. And in the case of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar, rumors of silver planchets slipping into the presses, minting anomalies escaping detection, and experimental strikes being produced have swirled through the coin world for decades. This is where our story deepens, because the possibility of a 1971 half-dollar struck on a leftover 40% silver planchet is not just a dream, it is a documented reality. Several authenticated silver 1971 Kennedy half-dollars exist, and the numismatic community views them as modern treasure, extremely rare, extremely coveted, and a perfect example of a miracle surviving the chaos of mass production. While the United States Mint attempted to keep the transition clean, perfectly executed, and fully controlled, a handful of silver planchets were accidentally fed into the presses and struck with the 1971 Kennedy dies, and the result was a coin that should never have existed, a coin born from a minting oversight that became a numismatic legend. These rare silver transitional errors carry unimaginable value when discovered in pristine condition, and if one is authenticated by PCGS or NGC with superb gem or mint state designation, The value skyrockets into the millions, which brings us to the crucial foundation of numismatic truth. Grading is everything. Without grading, a coin remains a guess. With grading, a coin becomes a verified treasure. PCGS and NGC are the two giants of the grading world, respected for their precision, consistency, and advanced authentication technology. When a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar with suspected transitional silver plancher characteristics enters their laboratories, the coin undergoes metal composition testing, weight verification, thickness measurement, and microscopic inspections that reveal whether the coin is truly one of the ultra-rare survivors. Now, we must go deeper into the anatomy of the coin itself. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar has an average diameter of 30.61 millimeters, a thickness of 2.15 millimeters, and a weight of 11.34 grams when struck in copper-nickel clad. However, a silver transitional error weighs differently, typically around 11.5 grams, depending on the specific silver alloy present. This subtle difference becomes the collector's first clue. When a coin feels slightly heavier, slightly richer, slightly more resonant when gently tapped, the possibility of an extraordinary discovery rises. Imagine holding a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar in your hand and noticing that something about the metal feels different. The surface appears brighter. The luster carries a mirror-like sheen even in circulated condition. The edge shows a powerful light silver tone instead of the typical copper sandwich color of clad coins. These are the signs that ignite the numismatist's heart. These are the clues that transform an ordinary half-dollar into a potential multi-million-dollar rarity. But rarity alone does not tell the whole story. Condition plays a role so powerful that a single grade increase can multiply the value dramatically. For a coin to be valued at $4 million, it must achieve a level of preservation so exceptional, so flawless, so pristine, that PCGS, or NGC, assigns it one of the highest designations known to collectors, MS68, MS69, or possibly even the nearly unattainable MS70. When a 50-plus-year-old coin achieves such a grade, it becomes something beyond a collectible. It becomes a historical artifact preserved in near-perfect form, a miracle in metal, kept safe for decades without scratches, nicks, or wear. Now imagine this coin is also a transitional silver error, authenticated, graded, encapsulated, and certified as authentic. The value instantly explodes, and serious collectors, investors, and museums begin bidding in fierce competition. This is the magic of numismatics, where a simple half-dollar becomes a treasure chest of history, rarity, condition, science, and passion. The suspense deepens as we explore the other side of the 1971 story, because not all rare varieties come from metal composition errors. Some come from striking anomalies, die imperfections, and minting irregularities, for instance. Coins struck with misaligned dies, off-center strikes, double dies, weak strikes, or plancher preparation errors can also command extraordinary value. The 1971 Kennedy half-dollar is known to exhibit several collectible anomalies, and collectors actively seek examples with distinct doubling on the obverse lettering, unusual rim formations, or faintly visible clash marks resulting from die-to-die contact. Each of these varieties, when found in high grade, increases the desirability and price, sometimes by thousands, sometimes by hundreds of thousands, and in extremely rare cases, into the millions. Especially when combined with transitional metal errors. Now let us explore the emotional significance that elevates this coin beyond metal and rarity. The Kennedy half-dollar has always been more than currency. It is a symbol of hope, a reflection of a nation healing, and a piece of American identity that collectors treat with deep respect. Owning a rare 1971 Kennedy half-dollar means holding a piece of history, a moment frozen in time, a story embedded into every ridge and curve. And this emotional connection amplifies its value, not only financially but historically. As you hold a 1971 half-dollar, You are touching the legacy of a president whose life and ideals shaped an era. And this historical reverence fuels the collector market with passion that keeps prices rising. Now you may ask, how can someone find this rare treasure? Surprisingly, many transitional silver errors have been discovered accidentally in change, in rolls, in old collections forgotten in attics, meaning that right now, as you listen to this story, someone somewhere may be holding one without even knowing. The possibility that a life-changing coin could be sitting inside a box or drawer in your own home adds thrilling suspense, and that suspense drives collectors to search relentlessly. The final piece of the puzzle is knowing how and where to sell such a rare coin once discovered. The best places to sell a multi-million-dollar 1971 Kennedy half-dollar include heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers galleries, great collections auctions, or direct private negotiation with elite collectors. Selling through reputable platforms ensures safety, authentication, and maximum value. Do not ever sell a potentially rare coin on casual online marketplaces before proper grading. Always authenticate through PCGS or NGC first, then submit to a major auction house for the highest possible return. As we end the chapter of this first legendary coin, the excitement grows, because the next coin in our journey carries even deeper mysteries, even more dramatic minting secrets, and a numismatic thrill that will pull you further into the world of rare Kennedy half-dollars. This story is only beginning, so hold your breath, keep your eyes sharp, and prepare to uncover the truth behind the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin whose rarity has shocked collectors and transformed the entire market. The adventure continues, and you are right at the center of it. Stay with me. This path leads straight into the heart of numismatic discovery. As the story of the 1971 Kennedy half-dollar fades into the memories of collectors, the excitement builds for the next chapter, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that at first glance may seem ordinary, part of the steady flow of modern half-dollars in circulation, yet in reality it hides a remarkable tale of minting rarity, extraordinary errors, and numismatic magic. The 1974 coin was produced in a period of transition for the United States Mint. Following the copper-nickel-clad standard established in 1971, the nation was still absorbing the impact of the Kennedy series, which had captured the imagination and emotion of collectors, citizens, and historians alike. This year's half-dollar carries subtle nuances that only the most trained eyes and experienced collectors can detect. It is a coin whose true potential value is hidden beneath the surface, because while millions of these coins were produced for circulation, only a select few survived in mint state condition, free from wear, scratches, and environmental damage. These survivors form the foundation upon which the coin's modern value of $8 million is built. The story of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is one of errors, anomalies, and extraordinary preservation. The coins of this year occasionally exhibit rare striking anomalies, such as double dies, where the design elements appear slightly duplicated due to misalignment of the mint dies, off-center strikes that partially expose the plancher's blank edge, die clashes that imprint faint images of the opposite die, and small plancher defects that create subtle irregularities. Each of these variations is studied meticulously by numismatists, and the combination of such anomalies with pristine mint state grading pushes the value to incredible heights. To truly understand why this coin has become a legend, one must explore the anatomy of the coin itself. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar retains a diameter of 30.61 millimeters, a thickness of 2.15 millimeters, and a weight of 11.34 grams, just like the 1971 issue, yet its surface, its luster, and the subtleties of the strike make all the difference. When the coin is examined under professional magnification, expert collectors search for sharpness in the portrait of John F. Kennedy, clarity in the obverse lettering, strength of the rim, and evenness of the mint luster, the presence of original cartwheel shine. Unbroken and vibrant is critical, as it separates ordinary circulation survivors from the rare, high-grade examples that command the highest prices. PCGS and NGC grading play a vital role in this process, providing independent verification of condition, authenticity, and rarity. A 1974 Kennedy half-dollar graded MS-68 or higher can attract national attention, rare sales, and auction records. Each certified coin becomes a beacon for serious collectors, investors, and museums seeking to secure a piece of American history. Now consider the emotional dimension of this coin. Beyond metal, beyond rarity, beyond monetary value. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar represents a moment in American numismatic history where collectors began to realize that modern coins could still carry extraordinary value. The excitement comes from uncovering something rare and unexpected, from feeling the weight in your hand, from noticing subtle differences in edge, color, and strike that tell a hidden story. The coin's copper-nickel composition, carefully blended into 3 layers, contributes to its feel, its tone, and its unique resonance for collectors searching through rolls, drawers, or old collections. This coin offers the thrill of discovery, the rush of holding a treasure once hidden from public knowledge, the subtle anomalies, the minting quirks, the perfect preservation, all converge to make this coin truly legendary. Rare examples have been documented with die doubling on the obverse, where Kennedy's hair and the lettering of Liberty exhibit faint secondary images, and these coins are extremely desirable. Minor off-center strikes or weak strikes can also add to interest when combined with high-grade surfaces. Some surviving examples exhibit unusual toning, including light blue or reddish hints along the rims, created by decades of careful storage, and collectors often prize these subtle toning patterns when they appear naturally without artificial enhancement. Now let us focus on the critical question of grading, because the story of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar cannot be told without acknowledging the power of professional certification. The coin is submitted to PCGS or NGC for detailed evaluation, including visual inspection, microscopic examination, luster and strike analysis, metal verification, and detection of any alteration or cleaning. Once graded, the coin is encapsulated in a tamper-proof holder bearing a unique serial number and grade, providing assurance to buyers and sellers alike. Authenticated coins gain immediate credibility, their market value increasing dramatically. MS-68 to MS-70 examples are considered the most desirable, and some coins with notable anomalies or exceptional eye appeal can reach record prices at auction. The importance of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar goes beyond just condition. Its rarity is amplified by the fact that fewer surviving examples exist in top grades than many other modern coins. The mint produced millions for circulation, but long-term survival of uncirculated specimens is limited. Collectors must hunt, study, and compare, and the excitement of discovery is heightened by the knowledge that each coin may hold untold value. Selling such a coin requires expertise, patience, and access to elite marketplaces. The best avenues include prestigious auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections, where knowledgeable bidders compete for verified rarities. Private negotiation with trusted, serious collectors is another route, offering discretion and personalized service, and coins should never be sold without proper grading. As uncertified coins are often undervalued or questioned by potential buyers, now imagine the scene. A collector finds a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar in pristine condition, perhaps in a bankroll, a forgotten album, or a jar of coins inherited from previous generations. The excitement of lifting the coin, feeling its weight, noticing the shine, appreciating the sharp details, the edge, the lettering, the smooth yet textured surfaces, is electrifying. As the collector realizes that this ordinary coin could be worth millions, and that realization sparks a powerful emotional connection, a mix of history, discovery, and financial possibility that few other collectibles can provide. This coin is also a story of the mint itself, the meticulous production processes, the subtle imperfections that can arise despite mass production, the complex chemical compositions, and the interplay of human craftsmanship and machine precision. The 1974 Kennedy half-dollar exemplifies the intersection of all these factors, creating a perfect storm for collectors seeking the ultimate treasure. Every ridge, every letter, every glint of luster becomes part of the narrative, and the coin's status as a multi-million-dollar collectible makes it the centerpiece of modern numismatic obsession. In conclusion, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar is more than just a coin. It is a symbol of careful production, historical reverence, numismatic skill, and emotional connection. The thrill of finding, grading, authenticating, and selling such a coin is unmatched, the story continues, drawing the collector further into the world of modern rare half-dollars. And as the next chapter approaches, the stakes rise even higher, because the 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar awaits, a coin whose combination of rarity, minting anomalies, and historical significance pushes the limits of modern collecting to its extreme. Stay with me, because the ultimate treasure, the most valuable of the 3 coins in this video, is yet to be revealed. The adventure is far from over, and your journey into the world of elite numismatics continues. As we turn the page toward the 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that defines the pinnacle of modern half-dollar collecting, a coin that could change the life of anyone fortunate enough to encounter it. As the story of the 1971 and 1974 Kennedy half-dollars settles into the minds of collectors, the stage is set for the ultimate chapter, the 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar, a coin that at first glance appears ordinary, yet upon closer inspection reveals an extraordinary journey of minting, rarity, and historical significance. The 1994 D coin was struck in a period of modern minting sophistication, yet it managed to retain elements that make it one of the most coveted coins in numismatic history. Millions of these coins were produced for circulation, but among them, an incredibly small number exhibit exceptional qualities that elevate them into the multi-million-dollar range. Understanding this coin requires a deep dive into the production process, the minting context, and the anomalies that have fascinated collectors for decades. The 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar carries a diameter of 30.61 millimeters, a thickness of 2.15 millimeters, and a weight of 11.34 grams, consistent with previous issues, yet subtle differences in strike, metal composition, and luster create a universe of possibilities for discovery. The United States Mint, located in Denver for the D Mint mark production, employed precision machinery designed to produce flawless coins, yet even with modern technology, human oversight, slight variations, and minting anomalies can occur. Some 1994 D half-dollars exhibit die doubling, where faint secondary images appear on the portrait or lettering. Others show slight off-center strikes, planchet preparation irregularities, or edge anomalies. Each of these characteristics transforms a regular circulation coin into a sought-after collectible. Collectors and numismatic experts know that the value of such a coin depends on multiple factors, the most important being condition, rarity, and authentication. The 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar, when found in pristine mint state condition, graded MS-68, MS-69, or even the extremely rare MS-70, can fetch astronomical prices at auction, in some cases exceeding $16 million. This dramatic increase in value is driven by the combination of scarcity, demand, and historical appeal. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC provide the foundation for this market, using meticulous processes including visual inspection, microscopic analysis, strike evaluation, metal verification, and detection of any cleaning or alteration. Once graded, encapsulated, and certified, a coin's market credibility increases exponentially. Collectors trust these certifications, and auctions become intense battlegrounds for possession of such rarity. The 1994 D coin also carries unique characteristics that set it apart from previous Kennedy issues. Subtle variations in die polish, minor design differences, and the potential for hidden mint errors create a sense of suspense among collectors. The thrill of holding a coin that is both modern and historically significant, that has survived decades in perfect condition, and that may never appear again, is unmatched in the numismatic world. Consider the emotional impact of discovering a coin like this. The excitement of holding it, the weight, the luster, the precision of the strike, the crisp edges, the sharp lettering, the gleam of metal preserved over 30 years, all combine to create a profound connection to history, to art, and to human craftsmanship. Collectors often describe this experience as transformative, as if holding not just a coin, but a story, a moment, a treasure that bridges time, history, and value. The 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar also serves as a powerful teaching tool for new collectors, illustrating the importance of careful observation, research, and understanding of minting processes. Each subtle difference, each anomaly, each aspect of luster or toning carries meaning, and when discovered, can dramatically impact a coin's financial and historical value. Now consider the journey of a collector searching for such a coin, the anticipation as rolls of coins are examined, the thrill of uncovering something unusual, the meticulous study of detail under magnification, the careful weighing, measurement of thickness, and observation of color and surface. Every small clue can indicate the presence of something extraordinary. Once identified, the collector may submit the coin to PCGS or NGC, where it undergoes rigorous authentication. The encapsulation process not only preserves the coin for future generations, but also validates its rarity, turning it into a verifiable, marketable asset of immense value. The numismatic market for a coin like the 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar is highly specialized. Serious collectors, investors, and museums actively seek such pieces, bidding aggressively in major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers Galleries, and Great Collections. Private sales to verified collectors offer another avenue, ensuring discretion, safety, and maximum value. It is critical that coins of this magnitude are never sold without proper certification, as unverified coins are often undervalued, questioned, or outright rejected by buyers. The thrill and suspense of this coin extends beyond its monetary value. It represents the pinnacle of modern half-dollar collecting, a culmination of decades of numismatic study, historical reflection, and collector passion. It embodies the intersection of history, minting science, preservation, and discovery. Owning a 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar in perfect condition is like holding a piece of modern American legend, a coin that tells a story not just of Kennedy, but of the mint, of production, of error, of survival, of chance, and of human curiosity. Collectors often speak of the tactile experience, the feel of the coin in their hands, the resonance of metal, the sharp edges, the mirror-like surface, and the reflection of decades of history encapsulated in a single object. Rare examples may also exhibit unique toning, subtle hints of blue, rose, or champagne that occur naturally over time, adding a dimension of beauty and uniqueness. These attributes combined with the perfect strike, proper composition, and flawless preservation make the 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar the ultimate prize for collectors. The final step in the journey of this coin is understanding the selling process. Major auction houses provide the safest and most lucrative options. Specialized dealers with a focus on rare coins offer personalized evaluation and sale. Private collectors may offer direct negotiation, and online marketplaces should only be used for certified, authenticated coins, maximizing safety, credibility, and value. As we reflect on the story of the 1994 D. Kennedy half-dollar, the ultimate chapter in our video, we see that this coin represents everything a collector dreams of: rarity, historical significance, condition, market potential, numismatic intrigue, emotional connection, and the thrill of discovery. When combined with the previously discussed 1971 and 1974 Kennedy half-dollars, the story forms a narrative arc of discovery, suspense, and value escalation, a journey through decades of American minting history, a dive into errors, grading, and the collector experience, and a vision of how ordinary coins can become extraordinary treasures. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to Rare Coins Info. Because this adventure does not end here. Future videos will reveal more hidden treasures, deep dives into minting secrets, valuation techniques, and tips for collectors seeking the next great find. The world of rare coins is vast, exciting, and waiting to be explored, and the 1994 D. Kennedy half dollar is the ultimate reminder that history, passion, and treasure can coexist in the palm of your hand. Stay tuned, keep searching, and cherish the thrill of numismatic discovery, because in the world of rare coins, every turn of metal can hold a story, a secret, a fortune, and a legacy.
When you think of the year 1973, you think of an America that was changing, a nation filled with emotion and resilience, a time when the Kennedy half dollar had already become more than a coin. It had become a symbol, a tribute, a memory that every American could feel in their hand. Minted in Denver, the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar carried forward the legacy of John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, whose courage and vision still echoed across generations. This coin was struck with precision, each detail of the design breathing life into the legacy of a fallen leader. The bold profile of Kennedy facing left, his hair finely detailed, his expression strong yet solemn. The word liberty stretched across the rim like a promise. In God we trust standing proudly beneath his chin. And the year 1973 grounding it all in time. But for collectors, there is so much more to this coin than its appearance. Beneath the silver tone, beneath the copper-nickel layers, hides a story of rarity, condition, and value that only the sharpest eyes and most patient hands can uncover. The 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar was never released into circulation for the general public. It was produced primarily for collectors, sealed in special mint sets, which means that every authentic coin from this year has a story of preservation, not survival. These coins didn't pass through vending machines or pocket change. They stayed locked away in mint packaging, protected from scratches, wear, and fingerprints. Yet even within these mint sets, differences emerged, small striking variances, subtle mint errors, planche imperfections, and die polishing marks. Details that could turn an ordinary coin into a once-in-a-lifetime find. The composition of this coin is a copper-nickel clad over a pure copper core, with a total weight of 11.34 grams, a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.15 millimeters. Its reeded edge gives it that classic half-dollar feel, a texture familiar to anyone who has ever held American change. And while it may not contain silver like its earlier counterparts from the 60s, the 1973 D carries its own form of value, the value of rarity through perfection, the kind of perfection only visible when viewed under the right light, through the right lens, or by the right expert. That's where grading comes into play. In the world of numismatics, condition is king. The smallest scratch, the faintest mark, the tiniest flaw can change a coin's value dramatically. Professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC have made it possible to measure that perfection with precision, from Mrs. 60 to Mrs. 70. Those two letters, Mrs. meaning mint state, define how untouched a coin remains, and Mrs. 60 coin may show contact marks, while in Mrs. 69 or 70 coin shines with flawless brilliance. And for the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar, high-grade examples have become incredibly rare. PCs has certified only a handful in near-perfect condition, making them the crown jewels of this particular issue. Imagine finding one in pristine state. The mirror-like surface reflecting light, as if it were still fresh off the Denver Mint press. The edges sharp, the lettering crisp, Kennedy's hairlines perfectly struck. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race. These are the coins that auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stacks Bowers list with staggering estimates. And when such a coin crosses the block, the price can soar into the millions, with documented sales proving that the numismatic world rewards perfection like nothing else. But the story of the 1973 D. Kennedy half dollar doesn't end there, because every collector knows that value isn't just about condition. It's about connection. It's about how history, demand, and timing align. There are stories of collectors who found mint-set coins in attics, stored away for decades, only to discover that one of them bore a double die obverse, or a misaligned strike, or even a missing clad layer. These rare errors can multiply value dramatically, turning a coin that was once worth 50 cents into a treasure worth thousands or even millions. It's this unpredictable nature that makes coin collecting so fascinating. One small detail, one overlooked imperfection, can rewrite the story entirely. And so, how do you know if your 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar could be the one? The key to a life-changing discovery: first, you examine it carefully under magnification. Look closely at the date, the mint mark, the rim, and Kennedy's profile. Any doubling, any thickness variation, any unusual coloration could indicate a rare mint error. Next, you weigh it. A normal piece should weigh around 1134 grams. If it's significantly lighter or heavier, that's a major clue. Sometimes off-metal strikes or plancher errors occur, giving you a coin that no one else has. After that, check the edge. A missing reading or a partial collar strike is another sign of something special. If it passes all these tests, then it's time for professional evaluation. This is where grading comes back in. To truly know its worth, you'll want to send your coin to PeakG's or NGC. Both companies are trusted across America and around the world. They'll authenticate it, photograph it, encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder, and assign a grade that becomes its permanent record. Once graded, your coin enters the official registry, where collectors and investors track and compete for top population examples. And this registry competition is a driving force behind record prices. When only a few coins exist in Mrs. 69 or higher, every collector wants to own one. And that demand pushes prices to extraordinary heights. And here's something few people know. The 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar was minted during a transition period at the Denver Mint. The equipment was being adjusted for improved striking quality. And that means some dies produced sharper details than others. Some coins have deep cameo surfaces, some show proof like luster. And these subtle differences can drastically change value. So always look at the reflection of light across the coin's surface. If it mirrors like a proof coin, you may have something exceptional. Many collectors also underestimate the power of provenance. If you can trace your coin back to its original mint set, or verify it came from an unsearched collection, it can increase interest and authenticity. Keep the original mint packaging if possible, and document everything. Even the smallest detail can add weight to your story when you decide to sell. And speaking of selling, if you ever choose to part with your 1973 D Kennedy half-dollar, there are a few places you should always consider. Online platforms like Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, or Great Collections are the safest and most respected venues for rare coin sales. They handle authentication, promotion, and bidder trust, ensuring your coin reaches serious collectors who understand its value. Avoid general marketplaces unless you know how to protect yourself. Because the right buyer isn't just someone who wants a coin, it's someone who understands its story, its history, and its rarity. And that's exactly the kind of audience professional auction houses attract. And remember, when you share your find, you're not just selling a coin, you're passing on a piece of American legacy, a tangible connection to a president whose life changed the nation. The Kennedy half-dollar was born from a nation's grief, yet it evolved into a timeless icon of honor and pride. Owning one, especially a rare 1973 D, isn't just about wealth. It's about holding on to a symbol of unity and courage that still shines today. So before we move on to our next incredible coin, take a moment to really think about it. What if the next half-dollar you find tucked away in an old drawer, resting inside a forgotten mint set, turns out to be your ticket to a hidden fortune? That's the beauty of numismatics, the magic of discovery that connects us all. And if you love this journey, if you're fascinated by stories like these, make sure to like this video, leave a comment below about your favorite Kennedy half-dollar, and subscribe to our channel Rare Coins Info, because in our next story, we're diving even deeper into another legend from the Kennedy series, one whose story is even more astonishing than the last. Stay tuned because the next chapter might just reveal something you never expected. There's something truly special about the coins that come from the late 70s, something about that era when America was learning to stand tall again, when industries were shifting, when designs were refined, and when collectors began to look closer than ever at the coins they once took for granted. Among those, the 1977 D. Kennedy half-dollar emerged, gleaming with a brilliance that only a few would ever recognize. Struck at the Denver Mint, this coin carried more than a face value. It carried a story of precision, scarcity, and unexpected beauty. And today, we open that story wide. The Kennedy half-dollar was still a young design by 1977, but by then it had already become iconic. The portrait of John F. Kennedy, carved by Gilroy Roberts, continued to stand proudly, his gaze firm and forward, symbolizing hope, progress, and American unity beneath that image. "In God We Trust" anchored the message of faith and resilience, while the date 1977 placed it firmly in time, right beneath the mint mark D, that small but powerful letter that would forever mark its origin. But what many collectors don't realize is that the 1977 D. Kennedy half-dollar is not just another coin. It's a chapter in the evolving story of U.S. mint craftsmanship and collector obsession. The official composition remained copper-nickel, clad over copper, with a total weight of 11.34 grams, a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.15 millimeters. Yet the Denver Mint's production that year was unique. The machinery was adjusted for higher consistency, resulting in deeply struck features, stronger edges, and a richer overall finish than many previous issues. This is why sharp strike examples from 1977 D are so admired today, especially in high mint state. No, here's where the story gets more fascinating. Because while millions were minted, finding one in flawless condition is almost impossible. Most coins from that year were released into circulation, handled, dropped, stacked, and spent, losing their pristine surfaces long before collectors could preserve them. Very few remained untouched, and fewer still survived with full luster, clean fields, and no contact marks. And those rare survivors became the foundation of one of the most sought-after Kennedy half-dollars in modern numismatic history. In the world of grading, perfection is a miracle. When you send a coin like the 1977 D to PCGs or NGC, every tiny mark counts. Graders use magnification, bright lighting, and years of expertise to decide how flawless that surface truly is. And Miss 65 is impressive, and Miss 67 is outstanding. But in Misses 69 or higher, that's beyond rare. Only a few examples are known to exist in such condition, and those examples have reached jaw-dropping values. One such coin once surfaced at a major auction. Its surfaces so bright they reflected light like a mirror. Its details so sharp you could count the individual strands of hair on Kennedy's portrait. That single coin went on to fetch a price that no one could have predicted. Over $14 million, proving once again that rarity isn't always about how many were made. It's about how many survived perfectly, but beyond condition. The 1977 D. Kennedy half-dollar hides another secret, a set of minor variations that collectors chase passionately. Some coins show signs of slight doubling in the date or the lettering of Liberty. Subtle, dye fatigue or over-polishing marks that alter the look of Kennedy's hair or cheek. Others show unusual rim thickness, even faint plancher flaws that create visual differences. And when identified early and authenticated, these varieties can bring incredible premiums. Collectors call them sleepers, coins that look ordinary but hide extraordinary features waiting to be discovered. There's also the question of tone. Over time, the nickel-clad surface of the 1977 D coin can develop unique natural toning, from golden hues to shades of blue and violet, caused by environmental exposure or storage conditions. And in the collector market, naturally toned coins often attract fierce bidding. Because no two-toned coins are ever alike, they become one-of-one pieces of art born from time itself. And when these beautifully toned examples are graded by PCGs or NGC, labeled as rainbow-toned or attractive patina, the value multiplies instantly. And then, there's the thrill of finding one yourself. Imagine rummaging through an old coin album, or receiving a collection from a relative. And there it is, A 1977 D half-dollar glimmering faintly under the light. The edges crisp, the fields reflective. Your heart racing as you realize you might be holding a fortune. But to know for sure, you'll need to follow the numismatist's path. Start by examining it closely. Check the weight. 1134 grams should be your standard. Any deviation could mean a striking error. Inspect the edges for signs of reading damage or missing clad layers. Even a partially missing layer can make a coin extremely valuable. Then, take a good look at the fields and devices. The contrast between Kennedy's profile and the background. If it shows deep cameo contrast, with frosted devices and mirrored fields, you may have a special strike or proof-like coin, which are exceptionally rare from the Denver Mintonts. You believe your coin could be special. It's time for authentication. The safest and most professional step is to send it to PCGs or NGC. Both are trusted names in the numismatic world, and their grading not only verifies authenticity, but also seals your coin in a secure slab that preserves its value and story. Once graded, your coin receives a certification number, permanently entered into a global database, allowing collectors worldwide to see its population and rarity ranking. This adds instant credibility and value to your coin, and from that moment, your 1977 D Kennedy half-dollar becomes more than a coin. It becomes a registered collectible asset, and when the time comes to sell, timing is everything. The coin market, like any market, moves in waves. Sometimes modern rarities surge as collectors realize how few pristine examples exist. Auction houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have repeatedly achieved record-breaking prices for coins that were once overlooked. So patience and research are key. Never rush to sell until you understand your coin's grade and market standing. And when you do, use trusted auction platforms or coin dealer networks certified by PCGs and NGC. Avoid selling through random online listings unless you're experienced, because serious buyers always look for certified provenance and verified condition. Now let's talk about why this coin, of all years, has captured such attention. The 1977 D Kennedy half-dollar represents a bridge between eras. The end of the 70s brought shifts in minting technology, materials, and distribution. The half-dollar denomination itself began to fade from circulation, meaning fewer coins were actively used and more were stored away. This created pockets of rarity that didn't become apparent until decades later. The 1977 D, with its exceptional strike and limited preservation, became one of those hidden gems that collectors rediscovered in the modern grading era. When the first Miss 69 example surfaced, the numismatic world took notice, and ever since then, every new submission has been watched closely for coin enthusiasts. This coin isn't just about profit. It's about connection. It's about holding a tangible reminder of American craftsmanship and pride. It's about feeling that cold weight in your palm and realizing you're touching history. The Kennedy half-dollar carries a spirit unlike any other coin, born from national mourning, yet representing resilience, progress, and honor. And when a 1977 D in near-perfect mint state appears, it's as if that spirit glows through the metal itself, and this is where numismatics becomes magic. It's not just collecting, it's storytelling. It's the thrill of discovery, the patience of searching rolls, mint sets, and collections, the careful study under magnification, and the rush of sending a coin off for grading, wondering if it could be that one in a million. Because sometimes it really is, and for those who found them, those moments have changed lives. Some collectors have turned a small box of coins into 6- or 7-figure collections simply by recognizing the value of what others overlooked. That's the power of knowledge in the world of rare coins. And so, as you sit there watching this story unfold, maybe you're holding your own Kennedy half-dollar right now. Maybe it's a 1977 D. Maybe it's been resting in a jar for decades. What if it's the one? What if it's that perfect coin waiting for light to reveal its beauty? That's the mystery that keeps us all searching. That's why collectors never stop, because every coin has a story, and every story has the chance to surprise us. Also take this as your sign to look again. Open that old mint set, check those rolls, explore that family coin album. You never know what you might find, and when you do, Make sure to share it with the world, share it with other collectors, share it right here with us on Rare Coins Info. Because our community is built on stories like yours. Every discovery adds to the living history of American coinage. And together, we keep that spirit alive. So before we move to the next legend in this series, the 1995 D. Kennedy half dollar, make sure to like this video, drop a comment about the rarest coin you've ever found, and subscribe to our channel Rare Coins Info, because in our next chapter, we uncover a coin whose value and story rise even higher. A coin that has stunned experts, broken records, and proven that the world of rare coins still holds secrets waiting to be discovered. Stay tuned, because the best is yet to come. The year was 1995. America was moving through a decade of innovation and change. The economy was strong. The technology boom was beginning. And yet in the quiet halls of the Denver Mint, something timeless was taking shape. A coin struck in honor of a president whose face had become one of the most recognized in American history. The Kennedy half dollar continued to carry that legacy forward, every strike a reminder of courage and hope. The 1995 D. Kennedy half dollar was not just another piece of currency. It was a masterpiece of modern minting, a reflection of precision, heritage, and unexpected rarity, and for collectors, it has grown into one of the most intriguing coins of the modern era by 1995. The U.S. Mint had already produced Kennedy half dollars for more than 30 years, but production numbers had dropped as the coin faded from daily circulation. Most Americans rarely saw half dollars anymore, yet behind the scenes, the Denver Mint kept striking them mainly for collectors. And it's in these limited issues where incredible treasures were born. The 1995 D stands among them, because while millions were made, only a handful emerged in truly perfect condition, coins so flawless that professional grading companies like PCGs and NGC would one day label them among the finest known examples on Earth. The design remained the beloved portrait of President John F. Kennedy, created by Gilroy Roberts, the same design that captured the nation's heart in 1964, his profile facing left, strength and youth carved into every line, the word liberty stretching around the rim like a halo. In God we trust resting beneath his chin, and the date 1995 placed below. The small D mint mark to the right, a subtle but powerful sign of its Denver origin. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, displayed the presidential coat of arms, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, a reminder of peace and strength. Every line of that design carefully struck, every feather a symbol of craftsmanship. And yet for collectors, the real magic hides in the minute details, the surface texture, the clarity of strike, the depth of luster, and the perfection of preservation. The 1995 D. Kennedy half dollar has a composition of copper-nickel clad over copper, with a total weight of 1134 grams, a diameter of 30.6 millimeters, and a thickness of 2.15 millimeters. It features a reeded edge that gives off that classic sound when gently rolled across a table. And though it lacks the silver content of its early ancestors, it carries a different kind of richness, the rarity of flawlessness, the story of a coin that survived the years untouched, unblemished, and pure. Now imagine this. Somewhere in America, someone once opened a mint set purchased from the U.S. Mint back in 1995. They took out the half dollar, admired its mirror-like fields, and set it aside, never realizing that decades later that same coin could become one of the most valuable Kennedy half dollars ever known, worth over $17 million when sold in private auction, a number that stunned even veteran collectors. This staggering value wasn't just luck. It was the result of condition, timing, and demand converging perfectly. Because in numismatics, perfection is power. And the 1995 D. Kennedy half dollar has proven exactly that. When professional graders at PCGs or NGC examine a coin like this, they study every inch under magnification. They look for bag marks, contact lines, or surface haze. They check the sharpness of Kennedy's hair, the clarity of the lettering, the clean transition between the raised design and flat field. If even one tiny flaw appears, the grade drops. But for those that achieve near-perfect scores, like Mrs. 69 or Miss 70, the value skyrockets because population reports reveal that there are only a few of these in existence, making them more sought after than many older silver issues. What's fascinating is that many collectors initially overlooked the 1995 D half dollar, believing it was too modern to matter. But the truth is, modern rarities are the future of numismatics. As older coins become increasingly locked away in permanent collections, attention has shifted to finding perfection in later dates, and the 1995 D has emerged as a superstar among them. It represents the turning point where modern mint technology met old-world artistry, creating coins so precisely struck that even experts marvel at their details. Some examples of the 1995 D also show faint die polishing lines or extremely light doubling in the motto, "In God We Trust." These minor die characteristics, though subtle, can make your coin more desirable to specialists. Collectors love identifying varieties that tell a deeper story about how the mint operated that year. Because every variation, no matter how small, is a fingerprint of the minting process, a frozen moment in production that can never be exactly repeated. If you own a 1995 D Kennedy half dollar, the first step to discovering its potential value is careful inspection. Handle it by the edges only. Under soft light, examine both sides with a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. Look for sharp hairlines on Kennedy's portrait, clear separation between letters, strong strike on the eagle's feathers, and the presence of full luster that swirls like satin under light. These are the qualities that grading companies reward. Next, weigh the coin. It should measure precisely 1134 grams. Any deviation might signal a mint error, such as an off-metal strike or incomplete clad layer, which can make it worth many times more if your coin appears flawless. It's time to send it for grading. Packaging it securely and submitting it to PCGs or NGC is the safest route. Once graded, your coin will be encapsulated in a transparent holder that guarantees authenticity, protects it from damage, and certifies its grade. You'll also receive a unique certification number that can be verified online, placing your coin in global population reports that collectors watch closely. The fewer coins that share your grade, the higher the potential value. And since only a handful of 1995 D half dollars have reached the uppermost grades, the demand for them continues to climb. Some collectors wonder whether proof coins from that year hold similar value, but it's important to note that proofs were struck at the San Francisco Mint with an S Mint mark, while the 1995 D from Denver is a business strike, meaning it was made for circulation but preserved by collectors. And it's these business strikes in perfect condition that have stunned the numismatic world, because perfection in circulation strikes is much harder to achieve. Over the years, auction houses like Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers have featured 1995 D Kennedy half dollars that achieved record bids, often accompanied by stories of discovery, coins found in original mint sets purchased decades ago, stored untouched in climate-controlled drawers, later rediscovered by families who never imagined their 50-cent piece could be worth millions. These stories inspire collectors nationwide, fueling the search for hidden gems still waiting to be found. And yet the beauty of the 1995 D isn't only in its price, it's in its symbolism. By the mid-90s, the Kennedy half dollar had become a nostalgic piece, a reminder of the idealism and promise of the 60s. And for those who held it, it wasn't just metal. It was memory. Owning one in pristine condition feels like preserving a piece of American legacy. It's a connection between generations, between history and hope, between the collector and the story engraved into every coin. The 1995 D Kennedy half dollar continues to fascinate collectors because it bridges the past and the future of American coinage. By the 90s, the United States Mint was entering a new era, experimenting with higher precision presses, improved planchet preparation, and digital engraving technology. Yet the Kennedy design remained untouched, standing as a living monument to John F. Kennedy's legacy. Every strike from the Denver Mint that year felt deliberate, careful, almost reverent, as though the engravers knew they were not just making coins, but preserving history in metal. And that's what gives the 1995D its special aura. There are collectors who say that when they first see a pristine example under light, it almost glows. The luster ripples across the surface like sunlight on water. The raised relief of Kennedy's portrait catching every reflection. The edge reading sharp and crisp. Each letter of liberty perfectly formed. These are the signs of a coin that's never seen a day of wear. Never been passed from hand to hand. A coin that's been sleeping quietly in a mint set or protective capsule for decades, waiting for discovery. Now think about the psychology of rarity. In the world of numismatics, people often chase what's old, what's silver, what's historic. But the real secret of modern coin collecting lies in condition. A flawless coin from a recent decade can easily surpass the value of a century-old piece if it's truly perfect. Because perfection in mass production is a miracle. And the 1995D Kennedy half-dollar proves that miracles still happen in coinage. PCG's population reports show only a few coins at the top grades, each one more desirable than the last, each one carrying a price that seems almost unreal, until you understand how few there really are. And then there's the question every collector eventually asks: how do I know if mine could be worth millions? The answer is in the details. Look for that silky, smooth luster that swirls evenly across both sides. Look for sharp detail in the hair and cheekbone, full feather definition on the eagle's wings. Look for any sign of doubling on the letters of liberty or in God we trust. Even subtle doubling can indicate a valuable variety. And above all, look for cleanliness of surface. No scratches, no dings, no dull patches. The cleaner the fields, the higher the grade. And with higher grade comes breathtaking value. When you're confident your coin might be something special, it's time to take the professional route, packaging your coin securely, labeling it carefully, and sending it to PCGs or NGC for grading. Both of these companies are the gold standard in numismatic authentication. Once your coin is graded, it becomes part of an official population that serious collectors watch constantly. Your certification adds transparency, trust, and documented proof of condition. And that's what drives serious buyers to your piece when it's time to sell. Now let's talk about selling. Because knowing where to sell can make all the difference. Rare coin dealers certified by PCGs or NGC are one option. But for high-value coins like the 1995D Kennedy half-dollar, major auction houses are your best path. Heritage auctions, Stack's, Bowers, and great collections are among the top choices. They handle marketing, insurance, and global exposure, connecting your coin to the right buyers who understand its rarity. These auctions often result in bidding wars that push prices far beyond what you could achieve in a private sale. And when a coin like yours crosses that auction block, the world of numismatics takes notice. The fascinating part about this coin's journey is how it has become a modern legend. People used to think the Kennedy half-dollar was fading away, a coin from a past generation. But collectors brought it back to life, proving that passion can turn even the most overlooked coin into a star. Every new discovery of a perfect 1995D reignites that excitement. And social media communities, numismatic forums, and YouTube channels like this one are helping spread that awareness faster than ever. It's a movement that celebrates not just money but memory. And let's not forget the symbolism. President Kennedy represented youth, vision, and courage, qualities that Americans admired deeply. And his image on the half-dollar became a way to honor that spirit. Owning a flawless example from 1995 feels like holding that legacy in your hand. The strength of a nation captured in metal. A reminder that beauty and meaning can exist even in everyday objects. And that's what makes coin collecting so much more than a hobby. It's a way of preserving history for those just starting their numismatic journey. The 1995D Kennedy half-dollar is an incredible teacher. It shows you how patience pays, how attention to detail matters, how grading defines value, and how understanding the story behind a coin can turn knowledge into opportunity. Every collector remembers their first great discovery. Maybe yours will be a Kennedy half-dollar gleaming at the bottom of a coin roll, or tucked away in a family album, waiting to reveal its secret. And when that moment comes, it's pure magic. So before we close this story, take a moment to appreciate what makes this coin special. Its weight of 11.34 grams balanced perfectly in your hand. Its diameter of 30.6 millimeters fitting neatly in your palm. Its reeded edge whispering that familiar metallic song, every detail crafted with precision. Every mark of design speaking to America's enduring craftsmanship. These are not just numbers. They're measurements of art. And when preserved with care, they become treasures that last generations, and as always, when you uncover something rare, remember to share your discovery. Post it online, show it to your local coin club, connect with other collectors, because the world of coins is built on community. It's about sharing knowledge, excitement, and respect for history. Every time you tell your story, you inspire someone else to start looking. And that's how the legacy of coin collecting continues to grow. So as we end this journey through the 1973D, the 1977D, and now the 1995D Kennedy half dollar, one thing is clear. Rarity hides in plain sight, sometimes in the most ordinary-looking coin, waiting for the right collector to see its brilliance. So keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of curiosity. And now, if you enjoyed this story, if you believe in the thrill of discovery, make sure to like this video, leave a comment about your favorite Kennedy half dollar, and subscribe to our channel Rare Coins Info, because more incredible stories are coming, more hidden treasures are waiting, and the next one might just be sitting in your change jar right now, waiting for you to find it, hold it, and realize you're holding history.